On this episode of Left Off the Map, Henry Terry is catching up with a local neuroscience named Leela Lendowski. They're heading to the berry patch in Turners Beach, but because they're going to pick some berries or have a look at the berry patch, we're going to do a berry recipe. Berries and rhubarb. My oven's ready, so that's a good indication that we're ready to go. So everyone's heard of apple tarte tatins. I'm going to do a rhubarb and berry tarte tatin. All right, so first thing I want to do is I want to get my brown sugar into a pan. So I'll need a mixing bowl as well. So I'll grab myself a mixing bowl. I'm going to put all my berries in there and my rhubarb in there. So all the strawberries can stay out because I've got to hold them. Berries can go in. Leave some for me just to eat. My rhubarb, I want the rhubarb to be bite-sized pieces. So about 2 centimetres sort of size. Now rhubarb can be a bit sour, but I actually like that in this because there is going to be so much sweetness in the berries that we're putting in there. So rhubarb in, brown sugar, it's going okay. I'm just going to take the tops off my strawberries and then just chop them in half and pop them in. And rhubarb cooks really quickly, so I don't have to worry about the rhubarb cooking at the same time as the berries will, because that will happen because of rhubarb's fast cooking speed. And I'm going to save some strawberries for myself as well. There's got to be some benefits to being the cook. All right. There's my caramel going. Butter in for my caramel. So in there I had, half a cup of brown sugar. And to add to that, I've got 75 grams of butter. A bit of a stir. And then, about a quarter cup of raw sugar. So all that, that caramel is going to help counteract the sourness in that rhubarb. That's probably enough heat. I can turn that off. I just want all that to melt and come together. Some corn flour, about 2 tablespoons of corn flour I'm going to put in with all of my fruit. And this is so that when my fruit starts to cook, it won't go all soggy. The corn flour under temperature will soak up the juice that comes out of the rhubarb, the strawberries, and all the fruit, and it will sort of make a sauce that will go with our caramel and keep everything together. The juice of half a lime. All right, mix all this. Beautiful. Oh, yum. Look at that. All right, fruit, that's been turned off. We've got no more heat in there. I'm gonna pop my fruit in. Spread my fruit around evenly into the pan. Done, done, done. Like so. Then I'm going to need a little pinch of salt. My pastry. One sheet of pastry. Now you can sort of trim the edges and just make it a little bit easier to fold under, and it will cook a little bit better. But if you've got a big pan, don't trim your edges, just because it's more pastry. And the only reason we have a tart or a pie most of the time is because of the pastry. All right, so what you want to do now, put it on top, and then just fold in the edges under the fruit and in between the pan. Push it in, fold it. You've got to move pretty quickly because Pan's still pretty warm. You've got to try and get it to curl under so that it holds everything in there. So it's almost like putting something to bed. If you've got your kids, you're tucking them in at night, tucking it under, like so. All right, happy with that. Into our oven, 180 degrees. And about, well, really you're just looking to see that the pastry is nice and golden and well cooked and crunchy. That's all we're going to wait for at this stage. That has been in for about almost half an hour. So I'll show you what we're looking like. Nice and golden on top. Now it doesn't really matter because that's not the serving side. That's going to get flipped over. We just want to make sure it's nice and fluffy so that we've got good pastry to eat. Now this is the tricky bit. This is if you're going to burn yourself, this is where it'll happen. So be careful. Get a plate that's bigger than your pan. Place it on top. Like still, hand over top of it. And then it's got to be one quick movement. You've got to be quick though, because otherwise you'll make a mess. Like that. Whew. Boom. Saved it. So that's why you need a plate that's bigger than your pan. Because this one was probably, it wasn't so much that it wasn't the right size, it was the right size. As you can see by that, I was off on this side by about 1 centimetre. So always err on the side of a bigger plate than a smaller plate. I'll clean up all my berry juice. And that is our tarte tatin. This is another one of those great ones that I think is awesome for sharing. So if I was serving this at home for dessert, that's how I would serve it. I'd get a big scoop of ice cream, put it in the middle, and then have people just sit a pile of spoons there, everyone gather around the table and dig into it. Right, now we'll go and see where a lot of berries on the northwest coast of Tasmania come from, catching up with Henry and Leela. Henry's first stop on his Ulverstone road trip is the Berry Patch, a local farm and cafe that is known for its wonderful fresh produce and authentic farm experience.
G'day, Leela.
Hey, how are you doing, Henry?
Really well, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, really good.
It's great to meet you.
Pleasure's all mine.
So, Leela, you're a neuroscientist.
That's right.
What does that involve exactly?
So a neuroscientist is someone who works on the brain and the nerves that span out from the brain into the body. And considering that the brain controls everything that we're doing, whether we're thinking about it or not, it's a really exciting and a really big area to be working in.
Massive. Leela, I hear you're a bit of an outdoorsy sort of person.
I do like the outdoors a little bit.
I've got quite the plan today. We're going to go to Guns Plains Caves, which I'm super excited to see. I've actually never been.
I haven't been there either.
Yeah, cool. G'day, mate.
Hey, how you doing?
Really well. How are you?
Yeah, good.
Oh, that's good. What are you up to here?
Oh, just a bit of maintenance.
Nice one.
Repairing a few things.
So you're the man responsible for all these amazing structures around the place?
Yep, I've had a hand in a few of them. Yep.
Incredible. It's such a beautiful spot. What do you do here at the Berry Patch?
Oh, everything. So basically, handyman, maintenance, landscaping, put in all the new fruit this last couple of seasons, renovated the tram, even the pergola, the yurt, the sandpit, table tennis tables, the stage.
Yeah, awesome.
Fencing, everything.
You've done a beautiful job. And what sort of events do you hold and products do you sell here?
We've just started the big gigs, maybe a few hundred people recently because the stage is pretty new, but all kinds of things. Sometimes we have a market Friday nights over certain times of the year. And then, yeah, also in the cafe we sell all kinds of local stuff, obviously, and we collaborate with a lot of local farmers and also the gin bar.
Yeah.
They do a strawberry gin, so
Wow.
all kinds of stuff happening.
Well, thanks very much for your time.
No worries.
Have a good one.
You too. Enjoy.
See ya.
G'day, Jeff.
G'day, guys.
How you going?
Good.
Jeff, this is Leela.
How you doing?
Leela. Welcome to Guns, Plains, Caves.
Oh, thanks very much for having us.
No problem. It's always good to take people through. I love this place, so we like to have a look around and show it off to everybody. So
Yeah, I've heard lots of good things. It's a beautiful part of the world.
yeah, it's magic.
Yeah. Jeff, what do we have here? This is an epic map you've got.
Yeah, just a little map for visitors that come. They can pop a pin in from where they've been, so it keeps us in touch with where we get people from.
Nice.
Righto, so we're ready. We'll head on into the tour, into the cave.
Let's do it.
Sounds
Let's
great.
go. Here we are at the first stop. We stop here and have a bit of a look after coming past the creek in the water down there. This is where we find out all about the formations which start with the water. The water's the most important thing here, so a lot of caves in Australia and around the world are dry these days, but we get a really good amount of water coming through the creek, but also coming through from above, which get our formations growing, and there's lots of them around. Stalactites, stalagmites, straws, columns.
Stalagmites and tights. One's up and one's down. Is that right?
Stalagmites grow up, stalactites grow down.
And how does it happen?
It starts as a straw. The long, thin ones there we call straws. The water's come through the limestone and picked up minerals, changes from calcium carbonate to calcium bicarbonate, drops off the bottom and degasses, and it's back to calcium carbonate again, and we get the straw growing.
Okay.
And average, fairly slow, about 2 centimetres in 100 years.
2 centimetres in 100 years.
Yeah, that's
Oh my
the
God.
straw. They block up, then it comes down the outside, the stalactites grow. So from here we move on and have a look around the corner. And as you can see, it's a great spot to go. So thank you for coming out and having a look with us.
Oh, thanks very much, Jeff. It's been
No
absolutely
worries.
amazing.
All good.
It's been an absolute delight.
Cheers,
Thank
mate.
you.
Thank you.
Better get back up into the warmth.
Yeah, go back and see some sun.
From starting off with berries to ending up in a cave, it looks like Henry and Leela had a good time around Ulverstone and surrounds. Now I'm going to use berries again because I love berries so much. I'm going to make, it's a mojito cake basically. It's all the flavours that you would normally have in a mojito drink. I'm going to put it into a cake. First thing we have to do is make a coconut-based cake. And there's 2 reasons why. 1, we want the coconut flavour for the mojito. 2, we want something that's going to be able to soak up the syrup that we add to the cake at the end. So I'm going to use some desiccated coconut. First, we just need to make our base cake mixture. Butter, 125 grams. Sugar, 1 cup. I'm going to bring those 2 together. Once that's nice and light and fluffy, I'm going to add 3 eggs. Okay, that is my eggs, my sugar, and my milk brought together. So now I want to do everything else by hand now. Get rid of my whisk. This is going to become my mixing bowl. My desiccated coconut can go in. About 3/4 of a cup desiccated coconut. Fold that in. And then about 1.25 cups of self-raising flour. I'm a baker's worst nightmare. And the fact that I don't measure anything in a sort of a skill set where you should measure everything. Bakers would just lose it with me. Okay, it's pretty close. I got that pretty close. All right, so I got about 1 cup the first time round. Now I've got 1.25 cups. Pinch of salt. Springform tin. So pop your cake batter in. All right, so your cake tin can go into the oven, 180 degrees, for about 35 minutes, or until a skewer comes out clean. Oh, yum. To go with our little cake, we are making a sugar syrup, which we're going to flavour. So you need a little pot and a little bit of water in there. Equal parts water to sugar. So I've got about 3/4 cup of water, about 3/4 cup of sugar. So you're just making a sugar syrup. So equal parts sugar to water, sugar syrup, some vanilla. Some white rum. Now remember, alcohol vaporizes at a lower temperature to water. So the first vapors that are going to start coming off is going to be alcohol. Normally it's about between 60 and 68 degrees. We'll start to get alcohol vapor coming off. We should be able to flambe and burn off that alcohol vapor. So then you're just left with the flavour of the rum and not the alcohol component of the rum. To go with that, I need some limes and some mint for my whole mojito flavour idea. I'll cut my limes in half so I can squeeze the juice in. My mint, chop that. Just roughly chop it. There we go. So that little flame is the alcohol burning off. So I really just want to let that go until the flame goes out and we will have burnt our alcohol off. Now my lime juice. So the juice of 2 limes, bring that back to the boil. Then once we get that syrup back to the boil, I'm going to let it boil for a little bit. Then I'll turn the heat off, throw my mint in just to steep, and we'll end up with a rum, mint and lime syrup to go on our cake. So that's back to the boil now. I can turn that off. Put my mint in. Let that steep and flavour our syrup. And now it's just a matter of waiting for our cake to cook. So another 30 minutes and we can come back. As soon as we take the cake out, while it's still nice and warm, I'm going to get a skewer and poke some holes in the cake, and then I'll pour this syrup over the top, and that syrup will seep in through the holes, and the coconut, the desiccated coconut, is going to be able to hold that syrup in there. So it's going to become really moist, really juicy, and it's going to have all those flavours that a mojito would have. Then we're going to serve it with some berries.